Hey everybody, welcome to a new project. Um, we've had a small boat in our family for a few years. We bought it used. It's a 14.5 foot Sunray. I don't think the company's even in existence anymore. Last year, out on the water, stepped between the two seats, and sure enough, the wood is soft. I'm thinking this is probably a job for replacing the whole floor, the stringers, the whole 9 yards, maybe the transom. I'm not sure. So over the winter, I've done a lot of reading and a lot of looking online, and inspired by some of the people who made videos, which gave me a lot of information. So I thought I'd do the same thing. We'll put together a video taking apart the boat. I'm really hoping that it's not going to be as major as most of the replacements that I've seen out there. It wasn't. It's not a fancy boat. It's not an expensive boat. It's not a big boat. It's exactly what we need for the water up north at the cottage, and we're going to get to taking it apart and seeing what's under there. I'm hoping that it's just the floor, in which case we'll take the floor out of the boat, check the stringers. If the stringers are good, then I'll be a happy man. Everything I read though, and everything that I've seen online is points to that you have to do the whole thing. And a lot of people suggest that if you get to the point where you're taking the floor out, you might as well do the strings at the same time. I'm not looking forward to doing the grinding of the fiberglass down to the shell. I've watched that online. I've seen maybe 4 or 5 guys go through that, and it looks like one hell of a job. It doesn't look like it's any fun whatsoever. But we're going to get to it. Right now the boat is sitting out in my driveway, and it's covered up. It's still got its winter jacket on, if you will. I live in Canada. I'm in Montreal. So every winter, take the windshield off, which is another story. That's cracked and broken, but it gets us by. And put the piece of plywood over top of a tarp, basically to keep the animals and the wet out for the winter. It's stored outside. And yeah, we're going to get to taking that off today, getting the accessories out of the boat, getting the window on so that I can put on the regular cover, which I have hidden around in the garage here somewhere. I'm not sure where it is. So that it's at least ready for me to hop in the boat and start looking at how we're going to attack this. So I hope that by going through these videos and me recording what I'm about to go through, that it can help somebody else in the situation. Next video or two, I'm going to go through and get a list of the names and the YouTube handles of the people who have gone through this already and list them out for you, because there's a whole bunch of information out there that's really, really useful. And you should take a look at them all, because I'm by no means an expert. I'm not a boat builder. I'm going to go based on what I've seen other people do. So let's get to it. So I've always thought the case is that the floor has been replaced at the back half of the boat, and I'm fairly certain of it now. If standing in the boat, and you can see there's not a lot of room. There's only about 8 inches between those chairs. From about the back of this back chair here, right here, going backwards, the floor is actually fairly strong. It's from there going forwards between the two seats and then up at that cockpit in front of the two front seats. And there's not a lot of room. I know it's hard to tell. Down here, these two areas here, very soft in the front. So there's not a lot to replace in front of where the driver sits. As you can see from the underside, the boat comes to a point right there at the hull. The floor meets with the hull fairly soon. So chances are it's not even the size of a piece of plywood that needs to be replaced. So that's what I'm hoping for. Like I said, the backside there, underneath where the motor mount is, the transom I'm not sure about. Still not sure how to check properly. Some of the videos I've seen, it's drill a hole and see how soft it is inside. So we'll see. There's a couple of bolts in the back if we look. I think that this other side, I'm fairly certain this was installed for security. I think somebody was chaining the boat up to that. So there's a chance that that needs to be replaced. Everything looks fairly solid. Looks as though some work was done at one point on the transom, because this, I do not believe, is standard. That definitely didn't come with the boat. Let me check on this side here. You can see how that is modified and fit on there. But perhaps somebody's already replaced the transom or filled it with a product called Seacast. I would find it hard to believe that somebody had done that, but if in fact that was done, that would be excellent. I came back to the back and I gave the boat the motor a wiggle. That's the best way I can describe it. And I'll show you what I did. And here's where my inexperience comes in. I don't know how much play the transom should have. I figure it is an extremely heavy engine on a piece of wood that naturally is going to have some give. So this is, really pushing on the engine. There's some play there. Now a lot of that play falls at the mounts itself, and I believe that I have to pay attention to the tension on those bolts. I don't think that they're tight enough, but I don't know if you can tell when I do that. There's some play up in this aluminum area here, and I'm not sure how tight that should be. So this is going to be my first opportunity to ask for help. Hopefully we get some watchers on these videos fairly soon so that I can review, take a look, hopefully get some help myself. Bear with me. Sort of the wet area in the back of the boat. The drain which comes through behind the engine here, that hole right down here. But this crack here definitely appears to be some sort of stress fracture. However, the areas along the edge here seem to be okay. They definitely were repaired at some point. That's what I'm saying. This aluminum piece that I keep mentioning here is quote-unquote aftermarket. I believe that this work along the edge was done at the same time. It's really hard to tell. So I'm going to take a look and see what that looks like from the inside. But there's definitely work there. I'm moving up. Like I said, I'm not terribly interested in doing string work. But there's definitely some work to do on the interior. This piece of wood here is a solid piece of wood. And right now the cover that I have sitting on the bow of the boat up there, right there, mounts to this. You see the mounts there. Without that, the the cutting of the cover would be difficult for me to do on my own. That cover I've actually made on my own about 3 years ago. So I don't want to lose this piece of wood, but I think I have to replace it. This is definitely not standard. It looks like it's covered in vinyl flooring. Let me show you why. I'll move to the other side. At some point, somebody's cut into that piece of wood here. All of this is, it's hard to tell now, but in the summertime, this is very soft. Just gets a little bit of water in there. Like this piece here, it's all rock behind here. I don't know if you can see that, but that definitely has to be replaced. One of the most simple pieces of advice I can give. Like I said, we're in Montreal in Canada, and store the boat for the winter. Boat keychain, the plug gets attached to the boat keychain for the winter. And that makes it impossible for me to forget to put this thing back in. So I'm going to hop in and do that. It's starting to get a little late here. It's after 8 p.m. So I'm going to run out of light very soon. So the point for me right now, I'm going to try and get the battery in the boat. I have two gas cans behind me. I'm going to get the battery in the boat. We'll get the engine lowered. Hopefully get the hose hooked up to the inlets. Try and power up, make sure that we don't have any engine work to be done. So let's get to it.